What's up, everyone? Petravita here. I wanted to talk to you guys today for this episode of The Music Job, a little vlog thing we have going on here, about open mics, okay? I was at a poetry open mic last night, and I noticed a lot of things both from the audience perspective and also from the performer perspective. And I think that even if you are purely going to these types of things to perform, as many of us as artists are, there's a lot you can learn by how to be a good audience member and what you can do there to actually benefit your own performance when the time comes. So I wanted to talk about a few things. I will divide them up into kind of performer and audience type things, but I understand that if you're watching this, then the performer side of things is most relevant. I'm not going to talk that much about finding open mics and opportunities in this video. That's definitely something that I should do something on as I learn and get better at finding those opportunities, and I will in the future. But for this one, I figure we're mostly just going to talk about actually what you should do once you're at an open mic. So let's get started. Last night, the one I was at specifically was Stockholm Open Poetry. So this is a lot of people sharing poetry. Some people spoken word, that it's memorized. Other people they're reading, maybe from a book they published, or a lot of people just from their notebooks, things they've written, etc. And I noticed quite a few things, but this can be applied, because I do plenty of music open mics as well, this can be applied to music events as well, where you're going to be there rapping, singing, whatever. So with that in mind, let's talk about it. One of the biggest things I can advocate for is you should always be done in a way that leaves people wanting more and on the highest note possible of your performance, your set, your song, your poem, etc. And there's a number of ways to do that, but the main one that people mess up is timing, right? It's an open mic. You have not been booked for the show. People are not there to exclusively see you. And while you should take pride in what you're doing, one of the worst things you can do is have a great poem, a great song or two, whatever's supposed to be allowed that you share, and then have people all on your side really about what you what you're doing, and then you make the wrong choice. You have a choice of saying, hey, everyone here seems to be really enjoying this. It seems like they want more. This is a good feeling. Let's hit them with one more song, one more whatever. Or you could say, hey, I got my time. This is going really well. Why don't I, be respectful of time, leave it now, say thank you very much, and take off then. A lot of people self-sabotage by having something good at first and then assuming that will continue at the same rate if they continue. And what ends up happening is some people end up being annoying even though initially you really like them, because they don't really take the hint that this is an open mic. You're supposed to be up there for 5 minutes or whatever your time is, depending on the event. And overstepping that can leave a bad taste in people's mouth. Whereas if you do something really good, even if maybe some people in the audience would like to hear more from you, they're going to be excited about the next time they see you perform, or maybe they'll want to talk to you about it afterwards, and you can kind of blow those opportunities for yourself if you overstay your welcome and you transition from being, this guy was cool, I want to learn more about him, to that guy was kind of annoying. He kept asking if you do one more, etc. And that's another thing I want to talk about, asking if you can do one more. So if you notice a trend of it being okay to do a little bit extra, or the person running the event mentions that, hey, we only have this many signups tonight, so if people want to do something extra, that's different. I would do what you prepared, ask if you can do more. However, if those things aren't met, if it's just you wanting to do more, there's no reason for you to believe that on that particular night it's acceptable for you to do more, to go longer, I would highly discourage you, not just from doing more, but also from even asking, because you put the person running the event in an awkward situation. and because they either have to maybe look like kind of a dick by cutting you off, or maybe they don't want to have confrontations, so they just say, oh, okay, you can do one more, sure, but really they're thinking, hurry up, other people need to get up here. And so I would rather you just don't do that, enjoy your time up there, and move on. Not only is that better from the audience perspective and their perception of you, but also why, if you are going to put someone in an uncomfortable position, why would you want to make it the person who gave you this opportunity in the first place and put the organizers in a bad spot, right? So that's just something to think about timing wise. Okay. Another thing you should do as a performer, put more effort in than anyone else. So I'll give an example. I generally like, if I can, at poetry nights to perform things, even very long form spoken word things, from memory. Just because I really enjoy and want to make a profession of performing, and I want to showcase that I'm good at that in what I do. So rather than doing the bare minimum or reading lyrics or whatever it is from your phone or notebook, put the effort into making a real performance of it. Don't half-ass it just because it's just an open mic and it's not a real show. Those are chances for you to impress people, and you never know who's in the audience. And so I would always kind of think about what kind of the standard is for an open mic, and then think, how can I really make the most of my few minutes that I'm up there and come off as a good performer? So put as much effort into an open mic as you would any other live show. Don't disregard it. Don't disrespect it. This one is a bit of a hybrid. But as far as being good for performers and good for audience members, but if you're both, it's great. Be honest. Don't just butter people up that you didn't like. But if you like other people or you see something you like, tap them on the shoulder. Let them know afterwards. Shake their hand. Tell them you really enjoyed it. That's a huge part of open mics, is networking and finding those opportunities. So don't miss those. Okay, there's no reason to. Make sure you talk and network with people. Likewise, tell the organizers at the end, thank you, before you leave, okay? Make sure you shake their hand, get to talk to them for a minute. They're people whoever organized that event had the drive, the ambition to organize a music event, and were able to throw something together in the first place. So that seems like, if you're someone who's always asking, how do I get bookings? How do I find ways to play shows? Seems like a pretty good fucking person to network with, right? So do that. Also, a lot of times that means staying to the end, which brings to the next point, which is good for performers and audience members. It shows a lot of respect if you can to stay till the end, or at the very least, I've done this as well, depending on what I have going on the rest of the evening or early the next day, is at least don't just bounce out after your set. You rob yourself of a lot of things when you do that. When you sit there, you go up and you immediately run out the door and go home and don't stay to watch other people. Not only is everyone going to judge you for that, and honestly, rightfully so, you're also, if people did want to talk to you about something afterwards, you're stealing that opportunity from yourself by not waiting till the end, or waiting for a break, or waiting for a pause between a performer later on where someone comes up to you and starts talking. And you're robbing yourself of these opportunities to network and initiate on your own that I was just talking about. So stick around as long as you can, preferably till the end. Gives you more opportunities to meet more people. When you're in the audience at an open mic, I'm gonna run through some audience things, but since this is a lot of from the perspective of someone who wants to perform, how they really maybe should be labeled is, if you're a performer, you really want to be a good audience member, because people remember that, okay? And they will think about that when you're performing. So, show your appreciation for things that you like. Even if it's not a real show and it's an open mic for people, it still is a huge thing to have people appreciate something you've created and, applaud and show love and appreciate something you've done. So, snap your fingers, clap, scream, whatever is appropriate when you hear something that you really like. Likewise, if someone loses their place in a song, in a poem, or whatever. They're trying to do it from memory and they forget the words or something. Like, make some noise, cheer them on, start a cheer in the crowd, clap, etc. Some of the best open mics I've been to are these environments where if someone does slip up, they recover so quickly. They get a huge smile on their face because the reaction is not people like looking around and that kind of thing. It's someone in the audience is woo, and they start cheering people up. Someone whistles, like people are shouting for them and kind of help them get that momentum back, get back on that horse and realize it's not the end of the world or as big of a deal as they think it is. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. It's what I would want as well. If I was up there and made a mistake, then that's, when that happens, that's what I want to hear as well. I want to have some encouragement. Be a good audience member. Be a good candidate for eye contact. So when you're on stage, one good thing in a lot of people's stage performances is focusing for a few seconds on a time on individual audience members, right? Like you're talking to them and directing a line at someone. And if you're in the audience and you're looking down at your phone, it doesn't give the greatest. I understand we're all busy. We got a network. We got to respond to stuff. That's great. But it doesn't give the greatest feeling for the person on stage. And it also disconnects you from their performance if they want to in some subtle way, like making eye contact, etc., asking for crowd participation, whatever it is, if they want to make you part of that act, by means of being an active audience. So pay attention as best you can to people when they're on stage. That's pretty, showing respect. Last thing I want to talk about as well, one of my absolute favorite things is when you see someone perform for the first time or they mention it's the first time and they're very nervous, and you should make the first time memorable. Not in a sexual way, but you know what I mean. When it's someone getting up there for the first time, that's also a really good candidate for you to encourage and say something nice to afterwards. Make an impression on them. Make it so they want to get up 100 more times and then 100 after that because people cheered for them and then some nice guy or girl came up afterwards and let them know personally that they liked their art and something they made. And making that impact on someone is really important. Even if they weren't the best performer, it was clear they were new. The only way they're going to get better is if they feel encouraged enough to do that. And we're all at different levels with our nerves, right? Where for some people it's not that big of a deal. And for some people, if their first time went horribly, they would never do it again or be very hesitant to do it again. So something to think about. And I hope you guys keep that in mind. That is about... Yeah, that's what I had for my notes. I hope you guys got something from this. Think about going to more open mics, utilizing them to the best of your ability, being respectful, putting on a good show, and of course, people throw the word networking around like it's meaningless these days, but it's because it is so important, and it is a major function of going to open mic type events, open stage, whatever. Like, go there, talk with people, meet people. It does lead to opportunities. Don't be in the loser mindset of thinking there's a low chance you talk to the right person or actually find a show or someone has another thing or whatever. That's some fucking loser shit. Don't do that. Just go, have fun, be the best you can, and be the best to everyone else there. This has been The Music Job. I'm Petravita. Thank you very much. And I will see you in another video very soon. I'm feeling weird today. All right, bye, guys. I've been in a tailspin, headed for the earth at a rate that can make you heave. I've been feeling worse than a word could do justice. Please believe if I've seemed off, it's for a reason. This why I disappear all damn season, only to come back now when the sun peeks out.